All right, today we're talking photography mistakes. If you're new here, hi, my name is Costa. I've been a photographer for almost 10 years now, shooting travel, architecture, and documentary storytelling. And over that time, I've learned a lot of things the hard way. Through lots of trial and error, lots of analysis, learning new techniques along the way, sometimes way later than I should have. In this video, we're going to talk about 3 major mistakes I made as a beginner and how I learned to fix them. These are simple concepts that made a massive difference. The first mistake was not learning how to make the most of light. I would just shoot with whatever I was given at whatever angle first came to mind. What I didn't know at the time is there are certain ways to make the most of the lighting that you have. But once I got a hold of it, it allowed me to create depth, drama, and a cinematic feel to my images. Making the most of natural light comes down to light direction, and this idea of shooting into the shadows. If you imagine a circular diagram of your scene, with your subject in the middle and your camera at the bottom, you want your light source coming in from that top 180 degrees of the circle. I'm going to put some example images on screen with lighting diagrams so you can see this in action while I talk more about it. When your light comes in from that direction, from the side of your subject, behind your subject, or somewhere in between, you're going to see both highlight and shadow. This is what creates depth in your photos. This way you're shooting from the shadow side of your subject, hence shooting into the shadows. You get nice deep shadows and the image falls into this very moody, cinematic quality, and the light highlights what's most important. Now, shooting into the shadows doesn't have to be moody, that's just personal preference. But the key here is creating dimension with light, and shooting into the shadows helps you do that. My favorite light, and what really helps bring out that cinematic look, is when the light is coming from around 45 degrees behind my subject. Pair this angle with a soft, directional light later in the day, and you've got the key to a cinematic image. Now, this 45 degrees behind your subject isn't a one-size-fits-all solution. It depends on what your subject matter is and the look that you're going for. But if you're able to position your camera or your subject such that the light is coming from the side, behind, or somewhere in between, you're going to now see both highlight and shadow, creating depth with light. Experiment with this one and see the different results you can get depending on where your camera is relative to your light source. You can do this with any kind of natural light, outside, window light, artificial light at night, or even studio lights. The second mistake I made was shooting everything with a blurry background. When I got my first f1.8 lens, it was magic. It was like a cheat code for nice images. But what it really was a crutch for not the best lighting and kind of boring compositions. My work got better when the default became apertures like f8, plain and simple. Now most of the image is in focus. Now I had to think harder about light like we just talked about. There was no blurry background creating depth for me. So I also had to use composition to create depth. So how do you do that? By considering foreground, midground, and background, creating separation between yourself, the subject, and what's behind them. What I've learned to do is step back or reposition myself so there's something in the foreground between myself and my subject. What's best is when that foreground element can add context, story, or provide more information about my subject. What can be even better is when that foreground element frames something important in the image. Now you're storytelling and directing attention with composition. And then where possible, I also want to have some separation between my subject and the background. This can just come through distance. This separation between myself, the focal point of the image, and the background is what builds depth through composition. This doesn't mean photos without a clear foreground are flat. We have the lighting we just talked about as well, but pairing both together is the recipe for a really great image. By learning to create depth with lighting and composition, now when I shoot with wide apertures like f1.8 or 2.8, it's done intentionally, paired with lighting and composition to create a certain feel to the images. A dreamy, cinematic, or nostalgic quality. And the final mistake was not taking the time to get it right in camera. Not taking the time to implement the previous 2 ideas properly. Getting the right light angle to create mood and drama, and not thinking harder about composition to create depth. But instead trying to force it in editing later with vignettes and all kinds of masks and color editing to fake it or create it later instead of trying to enhance what's already there. Getting it right in camera leads to a more realistic final image. The best editing is the editing that you don't notice, because it simply brings out the best parts of what's already there. And that starts with a good RAW file. I'm not saying you have to do things one way or another, or masking is bad. I made a tutorial on masking, I use it all the time, intentionally. But rather to take the time to get it right in camera, and then simply enhancing what's already there in post. By taking the time to carefully consider lighting and composition to create mood, drama, and depth, instead of relying on blurry backgrounds or creating it later in post, your editing becomes more intentional, realistic, and impactful. Blending all these things together, shooting into the shadows, moving away from blurry backgrounds, and getting it right in camera are what made the biggest difference in my photography. If you learned something new today and want to see more of my process in action, check out last week's video about travel photography storytelling, where I share my entire photographic story through Kamakura, Japan, and talk through my end-to-end process for travel photography storytelling. If you're struggling with turning what's in your head into images, check out this video about why your photos don't look like what you saw. We do a deep dive into the difference between your camera and your eyes and how to bridge the gap between them. And with all that said, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.